Surprise, surprise, according to her own statements, EU Commission President Ursula von der Leyen sees clear progress in talks with Great Britain on an agreement for the period after Brexit. The main hurdles are reduced to two. Great Britain and the European Union are still negotiating an agreement for the time after the British leave the EU internal market and the customs union. EU Commission President Ursula von der Leyen and British Prime Minister Boris Johnson have extended a deadline that originally ran until Sunday. The sticking points have not changed for months. Fishing, fair competition, and the question of how agreements are legally enforced in the event of a dispute. Now EU Commission President Ursula von der Leyen sees decisive progress on the way to a Brexit trade pact with Great Britain. I cannot tell you whether we will reach an agreement or not, said von der Leyen in the European Parliament today. But I can tell you that there is now a path to an agreement. It is narrow, but there. Progress has been made on two of the three main points of contention: the struggle for fair competition in future trade and the implementation of the hoped-for agreement. The dispute over fishing rights remains very difficult. Sometimes it feels like we can never solve this question, said von der Leyen. Nevertheless, one has to keep trying. The next few days are crucial, affirmed von der Leyen. The European Union has been negotiating a follow-up agreement with Great Britain for months after the Brexit transition phase started. This ends on December 31st, but the breakthrough is still missing and the treaty has yet to be ratified. Von der Leyen did not say how this should still be possible. She only stressed in general that she was counting on the support of the EU Parliament. Von der Leyen described the concrete progress made in the negotiations as follows. In the dispute over fair competitive conditions, the so-called level playing field, progress had been made so that if aid rules were violated, the situation can be remedied autonomously if necessary. In terms of environmental and social standards, the EU negotiated a strong mechanism against regression. This is a big step forward, said the EU Commission chief. Difficulties remain as to how fair competition can be made future-proof. The points of contention in the implementation of the agreement, the so-called governance, have largely been resolved. Despite the extreme time pressure, the EU still sees opportunities for a Brexit trade pact with Great Britain from January 1st. The next few days are crucial, wrote EU negotiator Barnier on Twitter. In the European Parliament, however, anger is growing because there's almost no time left to ratify a possible treaty before the end of the year. EU Commission President Ursula von der Leyen and British Prime Minister Johnson agreed to continue the negotiations, although they had actually announced a decision for last Sunday. The Brexit transition period ends on December 31st. Then, after leaving the EU at the end of January, Great Britain will also leave the internal market and the customs union. Without an affiliation agreement, there is a risk of tariffs and trade barriers. Von der Leyen said on Monday that one question was crucial, and that is whether Britain wants smooth access to the internal market. Great Britain is welcome, but they either have to play by our rules, because that is a question of fairness for our companies in the internal market, or the other option is that they pay a price and the price is tariffs. In doing so, she was alluding to a mechanism that is supposed to ensure fair competition. If the UK deviates from EU standards, the EU could impose tariffs. In addition to EU fishing rights on British waters, the question is the central sticking point in the negotiations. After the extension for talks on a Brexit trade pact, hopes are growing that a breakthrough could still occur. Ireland's Foreign Minister Simon Coveney told Irish broadcaster RTE on Sunday that the negotiations were extremely tight-lipped about the details of the talks, and that this is a sign that serious discussions are going on and neither side is breaking trust. I see that as a good sign, said the Irishman, and today seems to be some kind of proof for what he said on Sunday. Originally, the final decision was supposed to be made on Sunday as to whether the negotiations on a trade pact should be broken off or a deal would come about. But after a short phone call between EU Commission President von der Leyen and British Prime Minister Johnson, both sides announced that the talks should continue. However, no concrete progress has been made until today, and a new deadline was initially not mentioned last Sunday. The main arguments were about ensuring fair competition and access for European fishermen to British waters. There was also no consensus on the instruments to be used to enforce the agreement. I always repeat these points again and again so we really see what is the point, because everything else seems to be cleared and put down in legal text already. The talks about Brexit trade pact between Great Britain and the European Union are still being continued, and today, well, you at least have a hint that that was a good decision for the moment. Ursula von der Leyen and Johnson, as I said, agreed on this on their phone call, and the issues of fair competition and access for European fishermen were particularly contentious. And so far there was also no consensus on the instruments to be used to enforce the agreement. But today, here we go. One problem down, two left. So we'll see how this continues. But one thing is still possible, that in the end, the only thing left will be fishing. So the economically least important contentious point could end the whole thing. You can't make that up. But now, after what von der Leyen said today, it's really getting interesting. And if you want to stay informed, please subscribe to my channel. Subscribe to my newest channels, please. They are really growing the way I would like that. And I'll see you in my next video. Viel Spaß.